What up, YouTube? So today is going to be part 3 of the Honda Civic b16 A2 rebuild, and we finally got everything that we need to get this bottom end rebuilt right now so far. It took us a while to get the crank, but we got that going, and we got it micro polished, so that's ready to go. We're doing a little bit slight upgrades while we do have this motor taken apart, so we will be putting the CTR pistons, and then we're running scat rods and NPR piston rings, king bearings, and ARP head studs, and we're running a brand new Honda oil pump. So everything's gonna be fresh on this bottom end. Before we do get to installing anything or putting the crank in, I'm going to be honing out these walls real quick so we get those cleaned up. I pretty much like to just use like some WD-40 and go a couple times, make sure that you have some good, hatch patterns on here, so the piston rings will seal and everything. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and knock that out and get my tool, and then we'll come back and get ready to install the crank with the new king bearings. All right, so we got our cylinder walls honed out. I sprayed some more WD-40 so I can clean off the rest of basically the stone, make sure everything is clean in there. Next thing I'm gonna do is put these oil jets back in, and then we're gonna start getting to the crank. So I'm gonna get the main girdles and everything. I like to use Lucas right here. This is like the best assembly lube that I like to use for dry starts and everything. So we'll get the bearings, the king bearings, and then we'll flip this thing around and get the oil squirters in, and then we'll come back, start getting the crank torqued down and make sure it spins good. And then after that, we'll start getting with the pistons and the rods and piston wrist pins, and connecting those all together so we can start installing them into the cylinders. Well, after we measure for our piston rings as well. So let's just get this crank done and then we'll come back. All right, so we're back now, and we got our oil squirters in, and we have the crank set in with the new bearings. So on the actual block, the clips are to the left, and then on the actual main bearings, they're right in the center. So there is 5 different ones, or 2 sets of 5s. Other than that, I got my bolts here. I'm getting ready to put some grease on those so everything will lock down pretty good so I can torque down this crank right now. And I got pretty much everything ready to go, so I'm gonna go ahead and start locking these down, and then I will make sure the crank spins perfectly, and then we can start getting to our rod and piston assembly. All right, so we're back now, and we got the b16 A2 crank in here, and the main caps all bolted down, so spinning pretty smooth right now. So everything's good, everything is greased up. Now we're ready to basically get our pistons onto our rods. So I'm gonna go ahead and start getting that ready right now. We got the CTR pistons over here, so a little bit taller dome, as you can see, way taller actually. But yeah, we're gonna be using these, and then we're gonna be running CTR camshafts as well. So hopefully this gives us a little bit more power for what it has, because it does have like ITR headers as well, so it should do decent, definitely better than stock. So I'm gonna go get these pistons installed and our bearings, and then we'll start dropping the pistons in here, and then we'll get to the oil pan or girdle and the oil pump, start getting that assembly done. I think after that we'll probably stop there, and then I still gotta go get the head machined. So yeah, after that we'll get the head done, we can finish the assembly, and then we'll start installing into the SI. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock out these pistons real quick and we'll come back. All right guys, so we're back like 10 months later on the b16 A2 swap. And so let me show you guys the problem, what we were having. So this is the new piston that we got from Nippon, pretty much just a standard piston. And as you can see, the scat rod fits in. It actually has a little play in there to fit between in there. And the problem was the old pistons that we ordered from Japan is that, well, first of all, these are actually supposed to be not supposed to be like, you know, ring, so you shouldn't be able to do this because these don't actually have the clips that go in. As you can see, these do have the clips to actually stable them inside, so these don't come with that, and the actual scat rod doesn't even fit in here, so I'm not trying to force it, and I didn't want to modify it. It's just a bad piston, so lost money on that, so just went and got some stock PR3s. We got our rings right here, and our block. We already got the girdle, pretty much all that locked. I just got to clean it all back up again, and then we can start installing the rods and pistons. But first, what we're gonna do is get all the pistons installed first. So when you get your pistons, make sure you got the intake side and exhaust side. So usually have an intake and exhaust side on them, but whatever this arrow points to on the block, usually this is like the intake side, and this is going to be the exhaust. Usually the intake valve is a little bit bigger than the exhaust side, so just make sure when you are installing them that all your pistons are facing the same exact way with the arrow and everything, because if they're not, that will throw it off. And also when you have these, they all these with the bearings, they all have to face the same way, so you don't want to have one facing this way on the cylinder and then have one on this way. That'll throw the thrust off. So I like to do it factory, just however the stock piston is. So whichever your stock piston, if it has the intake on this side or intake on this side, just make sure they all actually match. Right now I'm gonna actually start pretty much just getting these rods onto the pistons, and then put the rings on the pistons, get that all measured out, and then we'll come back after that's all done and start installing these pistons and rods. And we'll probably install our studs for now and maybe do the oil pump and call it a day on that. We got to go take the head in, go get it machined. Then we can start throwing pretty much the rest of everything. We got some ITR cams, and yeah, pretty much that'll be it. We can start finishing up everything, putting everything together, and get this car started up and get it to the paint shop. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock this out and we'll come back. All right, so we're back now, and so far I got the outer pistons in here and rods all torqued down with ARP. I use Lucas to pretty much lubricate the bearings and everything, and for the crank. And then the ARP studs come with the this right here, the assembly. So make sure you have that. Don't do it all dry out. So yeah, it should spins pretty good. So next thing we're gonna do is do the next two, pretty much get those rings, everything all torqued down on here, and then we'll get the head studs on here, and then we'll call it a day. That's pretty much gonna be all we can do until we can get the head from the machine shop. We'll get that on here, torque that down, do the cams, we'll get the timing belt and everything done, and we have to order a clutch, and then we'll put the transmission back on and get this thing back running. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock out these pistons and we'll come back. All right guys, so we're back now, and pretty much got the two center pistons in here, and everything's pretty much good. Spin the crank for you guys real quick. Just gotta find the 17 or 19. So I gotta get another seal for this thing. This thing popped out, so I didn't put the oil pump on here completely, but just started getting some things and some stuff pretty much ready for our water pump. Make sure I get all the bolts and everything. But yeah, show you guys how it spins. So yeah, that's pretty much it as far as that. Oh, on the bottom I did do the little girdle, so we got that on there. Flip this over. So yeah, we got the girdle on here. Next video will be basically getting the oil pickup on here with the oil pump all sealed, and then get that gasket, and then we'll work our way up with the head. I was gonna do the head studs right now, but there's really no point, and I don't want to lose anything. So we'll wait for the head studs, do the head all in the next video. Yeah, if you haven't, like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you guys think, and see you guys in the next video.